On April 26, 1963, a new exhibit was installed at the Bronx Zoo in New York. On top of a cage in the Great Apes House, between the orangutan cage and the mountain gorilla cage, was a sign in red letters that read, "The most dangerous animal in the world." Hordes of curious people stopped to have a look at it. What they saw when they peered through the bars of the cage was a simple mirror. They were looking at the most dangerous animal in the world. They were looking at themselves. This shocking revelation caused many to stop in their tracks and consider the truth of this, caused many to see themselves in this light for the very first time. Under the exhibit, they read the words, "You are looking at the most dangerous animal in the world. It alone of all the animals that ever lived can exterminate, and has, entire species of animals. Now it has the power to wipe out all life on earth." Many left in silence, a little wiser, a little more humble, perhaps a little more frightened. The most frequent comment uttered upon leaving was, "It's true." It is a difficult thing to look into a mirror. It is a difficult thing to see ourselves as we are. Every morning I seem to notice a new wrinkle, a new gray hair, a new flaw, and I think to myself, they don't make mirrors like they used to. It is so much easier, and perhaps also so much more comforting, to look at the flaws in others than to face our own. "How," asked Jesus, "can you even see that tiny speck of sawdust in your brother's eye when there's a whole wooden beam in your own? How can you see anything at all? First get that beam out of your own eye, and then maybe you will be able to see what is really going on in your brother's eye and in your brother's life." Jesus was raised in a carpenter's shop. He was very familiar with sawdust and wooden beams. He knew how irritating a speck of sawdust could be if it got into the eye. And he also knew how a larger piece of wood could blind a person entirely. As always, he spoke in terms the people could understand. French poet and diplomat Paul Claudel remarked that, "We cannot build the house of God out of the sawdust in our neighbor's eye, but from the beams we take out of our own." What is that beam in our eye that we do not want to notice? That beam that blinds us to all around us, and indeed blinds us to our very self? Often it is the beam of self-absorption. Not only do we turn on the selfie mode, we throw away the wide-angle lens and replace it with the zoom. We focus so intensely on ourselves, or on one portion of ourselves, that the rest of the picture becomes a blur, and even the self we think we are looking at turns into a dreadfully distorted, unrecognizable image. Other times, that beam in our eye can be the beam of pain. In our sorrow, our loneliness, our hidden or not so hidden suffering, we are able only to see the faults in others and not their suffering. How often, says Marty Rubin, have our own tears blinded us to the tears of others? Still other times, that blinding beam can be the beam of fear. We are afraid to notice others because we are afraid even to look into the mirror. The thought of what we might find terrifies us. We just might encounter the most dangerous animal. Fear is a heavy beam to bear. The beams that blind are many. Only one beam, only one blindness expands our vision, frees our eyes truly, and opens them to see more clearly. In the words of poet Kaman Kujuri, I wish for all of us the blindness of love that makes us see no faults in the other. God grant us all that beam of love, that the speck in our brother's eye may become a sparkle, our sister's tears an invitation to kiss them away, our neighbor's face a mirror to our own to be gazed into without fear.